Very dear friends of mine were at Dr. Calapai's, and they live in Westchester. They called me from Westchester and said, hey, we're in the neighborhood and we'd love to come see you. So I made them lunch, and they told me why they were here. Two of the three family members have had Dr. Calapai's stem cell treatments. And one of them is an older friend of mine, the mother of the other two, who had been wheelchair bound the last time I saw her, and now came to my house with a walker and got around the house with a cane. And I said, you're so much better. Magic, what? What have you been doing? And she told me about the treatments that she received. Her daughter said, I encouraged her to do it, and I'm going to call for you right now and make you a consultation. And the reason for that is that about 5 years ago, I had an acute CVA, a cerebrovascular accident, a stroke. And one of the results of the stroke was that I suffer from cerebral ischemic disease, which causes me to have blackouts. And I'll just be, one of the times I had a glass of wine in my hand, which I was laughing, the last man who spoke to you had a similar experience. And I thought, am I reacting to this wine? What is happening? I just passed out cold. In about 6 months, 3 times that happened. The third time, it happened 3 times in one night. By the third time, my friends called the ambulance and I was taken to the hospital. And that's when they diagnosed the cerebral ischemia. And since I have had the stem cell treatment, I have not had a single blackout. And that is a magical result. When I came to the doctor, I told him that was my concern. And he infused the stem cells up with my head back into my sinuses in the hopes that if there were repairs that could be done in my brain, must have done something. One of the results that I am so enthused about is this last year has been a really downer year for the whole planet with COVID. It was particularly bad for me because I was stranded in an apartment and I could not really get any exercise. I was in Italy and they did not permit you to really leave the house except for 100 yards away from your home. And I was just so sedentary. And I have never been a sedentary person. I used to have the reputation at work of being a hummingbird on speed. And now here I was sort of locked in. I was cleaning like the white tornado, but it's not a substitute for walking and really getting around. And part of the problem was, I think, the more sedentary you are, the more you become. The less activity you get, the less you want to get or can get. So having had this year, my husband died. My husband of 50 years died last year as well. So between the depression from that and the inactivity, it was really a bad year. And that was when my friend Andrea decided, you need to get to this doctor and see if you can get any good results from his treatment. So I told him I have a whole laundry list of things that are wrong with me, but the major thing, of course, is the cerebral ischemia. One of the results of the stroke was that I was put on medication that causes my hair to fall out. And the doctor said, well, I'll change your medication if you want. We'll see if a different med will have a different result. And I said, listen, if my blood pressure is in check, I'm good. And that was fine for about 4 years. And then after the 4th year and I lost 50% of my hair, you could knit another Janis, what would fall out of my head when I took a shower. I said, oh, God, maybe I should do something about changing my medicine. By that time, she didn't want to change my medicine anymore. The physician said, you're keeping this medicine, get a wig. So when I came to Dr. Calapai, I told him about the ischemia and how I'd like to address that. And I would love if you could do something with my hair. What? I said, my hair's falling out. Well, here's the results. In the last few months, I've never had bangs in my life, but I have all the hair. He did infusions also in my scalp, and I have all kinds of new hair growth, which I am crazy about. And no, I don't mind having bangs. I'm just glad to have hair back. But I think the most extraordinary result of all the things, because I don't know if it's having an impact on my brain and on my ischemia situation, except that I haven't had any blackouts. But I can tell you that I have been so frighteningly energetic that when I came back from Europe and saw my poor little house was so run down, I started to get appraisals for painting or siding or what have you, and they were so extraordinarily high, frighteningly high. $45,000? I just want a coat of paint. I don't want a new house. I just decided I could do it myself. So I got out the ladders and the scrapers and the spackle, exterior spackle, and I started to redo my house. And friends came over and said, "You have ischemia. If I see you get on a ladder, I'm going to beat you. You can't get on a ladder with that problem." And I got online, and there are different sites online, Angie's List and Home Advisor and all different places where you can get appraisals that were much, much more reasonable than the ones that I had obtained. So I did find a young man and his crew who finished the house for me. And while they were doing the house, I now started on the garden. So I replanted my whole garden, and I've just had the most extraordinarily energetic year. Last month, my older son got married on the Italian Riviera in the most stunningly beautiful little town. It's a very, very mountainous area. If it had been last year and I hadn't had a stem cell infusion, I'm thinking I probably wouldn't have managed to get on a plane. I was such a lump. And instead, I went to this little town. My younger son rented a house at the top of the mountain overlooking the bay, and I walked up to his house. And my phone app told me, the health app told me that it was 20,000 steps and 42 stories that I walked to get up to his house. And I did that every day for 3 weeks. It was just amazing how much energy has been restored to me. So I can't say enough good things and recommend to enough people, whatever their difficulty may be, it's worth looking into. Would a stem cell infusion be helpful? I really can't say enough good things. I feel like I got a new lease on life.